Yo, what's up everybody? It's Jake the Barber and I'm here at Beardbrand Studios with my friend Daniel. Today we're going for the big chop. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do, since we're getting rid of most of this, is I'm just gonna get this hair together. Get it out of my way. I'm just gonna chop it off.
Oh man.
All right, now that most of that's out of the way, I'm gonna section it off. I'm gonna start my fade. So I'm gonna take my clipper all the way closed. And I like to keep it on one side. So I'm gonna start down by the ear. I'm gonna bring it right up to where the arch would be at the top. Go for more of a higher fade. And when I'm cutting, I really like to adjust the head, move the head placement, so I'm not moving all around. Make the client work for me, make my life a lot easier. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Now that we have our guidelines set in, I'm gonna take my clipper. This is a detailer. It's almost completely skin, but it's not quite skin yet. I'm gonna take all this off. And when I do this, I really like to stay below this line. I don't wanna go up into this because I'm gonna create a line. It's kind of hard to get out. So I'm gonna keep it about 1/4 inch below. So after all that's gone, I'm just gonna dust off the head. And I'm gonna use my foil shaver. And because I took this down to stubble, I can bald this out. If it's not completely stubble and there's still long hair, this clipper actually won't cut the hair, so it has to be super short. I'm just gonna take this. And I'm gonna keep it below what I just did with the other clipper. So I went 0, detailer, now shaver. And I'm just dropping a little bit each time. All right, so now I'm gonna start the fade. I'm gonna take a half clip. I'm gonna put it on my clipper all the way closed, and I'm gonna go up almost an inch. And when I fade, I really like to just keep to one side, and that way I'm not jumping back and forth and losing where I'm at. I can really concentrate on one area, and it's also a lot faster. I just keep it super controlled in this area. So I'll do all my steps to this side. Take the half off, open my clipper all the way up, and I'll go right below that line. Close it a little bit and I'll drop down just a little bit. So now my clipper's all the way closed, and as you can see, I just fade down and I close my clipper a little bit each time. And that way I'm not chasing a line all the way up the head. And then I'll go back and I'll just kind of corner it very lightly. And at the end of the haircut, I'll go through with my detailer and clean up any areas that need to be cleaned up where the skin meets the actual fade. But for right now, making it look as best as possible without taking too much time. Now I'll put my 1.5 guard on my clipper, but I'll have my 1 in my hand. Move this out of the way. I take my 1.5 up just a little bit, just about the same length I took the half clip up. Take my 1.5 off, put my 1 on, and I'll open it, and I'll go right below that. Same technique. And for this part of the fade, I really like to just use my corners and rock it back and forth, and that way I'm not really taking big chunks out of this, because you can always take more hair off, you can't put it back. I'll close it a little bit. Put my 1.5 back on. Open it just a little bit. I just want to feather this part out. And for this part, I usually like to leave it heavier and darker up here. So when the head starts to round at the top, I don't like to follow that shape. I like to give it more of a boxed look. So I like this length right here so it falls down instead of rounding up. I'm just gonna clean that up just a little bit with the corner. And then I'm gonna attack the other side with the same steps I took. I'm gonna work with the back. I'm gonna make these two sides meet. Don't make any sudden movements here. Now I'm just gonna adjust where this hair is. That way I can work on the back. Put my half back on, close it, go right to where I put the half in on each side. We're just gonna make these two sides meet. Take the half off, open it all the way up, and we're just gonna fade downward. Take my 1.5 guard, close it, open, just meeting both sides, close just a little bit, and just make sure you can always hear the hair cutting, because if you can't hear the hair cutting, it's not doing anything. All the way closed. Take my 1 off, all the way open, kind of use the corners. Just using my corners, kind of picking at the fade, cleaning up some dark spots. Can be a bit deceiving because the hair is a couple colors. So it's dark in some areas, it's light in other areas. You're just kind of using your finesse with the clipper and you're being cautious. That's why you're only using the corner. You don't want to go in like this and take a big chunk out and then have to redo the fade. Right, now we're just going to go in. This is the same clipper. That clipper's just kind of hot from using it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to taper out these burns. lighten it up a little bit. And for this, I don't like to do too much. I really don't like to get a clip and go into the beard and take off a lot of this length, because this length makes this look fuller. You know, there's a very full beard. So I really just don't want to do too much. With the beard, a lot of the times less is more. So I'm really just going to do the same technique I did with the fade, but on the beard in reverse. So I'm just going to corner this and like take little pieces out at a time. And remember, you cannot put hair back on. You can only take more off. So be careful with this area. Since this beard already has really good shape, kudos to the barber that cut this before him. Did a great job. I'm really just gonna take some of the stragglers off, and then we'll do a little work to the mustache and we'll do a shape up, but it's a really good beard. So this part is really just, you just have to be tedious and not take off too much. So for this, I really like to have the clipper all the way open. The clipper is such an unforgiving tool. I don't like to have it closed, because one wrong little movement and you can really take a nice chunk out of the beard if they move or you flinch. So I like the clipper all the way open. And this is a great clipper for doing beards. When I do the beard, I really like to come to the side. It's kind of hard to see what you're doing in the front. Come to the side. So now on the other side, I'm just gonna do the same thing. Really light. I'm gonna open the clipper up. So I'm just gonna double check the beard, and I'm gonna comb under and pull down. And this is gonna show a lot of the weight under here. It looks good. There's just a few hairs that I wanna get rid of. But I really like to come up, comb coming up, grab and pull down. Balance my middle finger on the chest, and that way I'm not freehanding it with a shaky hand. And this is going to ensure that I don't cut anything I don't want to cut. Same thing, come back. But I like what the barber did before with keeping this all natural. For the mustache, said he wants to keep it super long, not terribly long, but a slight trim, so I don't want to kill all this length. So what I'm going to do is just comb this down, and instead of going right in, I'm just going to almost like sketch away some of these hairs. Same thing, I'm going to balance with my middle finger and just lightly trace some of these hairs. Comb it down. And I'm always gonna comb down after every step I take, because clippers a lot of the time will just push hair out of the way without cutting it. So I wanna make sure I'm actually cutting hair. That's why I have this out. I'll shape up. Very light. I like to keep it natural. I'm just gonna kind of clean up the cut before I shear the top and straight razor the beard. Get this hair out of the way, take a look. Hit this beard right here with some hairspray. And now while that's drying, I'm gonna go in and start cutting the top. Now that we have our guideline in the front, that's what I'm gonna follow for the whole top. I see what I need to cut. So now what I'm gonna do, I checked it, everything checks out. I'm just gonna add a little texture. Just gonna point cut this so it lays nice. Put a new blade in, and I'm just gonna lightly etch this sideburn. And remember, I put the hairspray in. I'll let it dry, so that's actually a layer over the skin. Let's get my detailer, get these hairs up by the eye. So I'm gonna go to my trusty Temple Smoke, my favorite scent from Beardbrand. I'll take a little bit. This is the styling balm. I'm gonna evenly distribute this through my hands. Work it through the hair before I blow dry. I like to put it in before I blow dry. Get this nifty little contraption. Finish off with the Temple Smoke Sea Salt spray, a little mist. Put my blow dryer on cold. Work that through. Cool.
All right, guys, stop. Before you watch our next video, let me tell you, our sea salt spray. This product is amazing for your hair. It gives movable texture. It's like a dry shampoo, so if you go in between days of washing your hair, it'll help your hair extend a little bit longer, and it smells absolutely amazing. Find it over at beardbrand.com.